Mr. Jerry Vaval. What's going on, blood, eh?
JTG.
What up, what up, what up, what up?
Podcast dedicated to empowering men by tackling the vital issues of mental health. How's your mind? How's your body? How's your heart? What are you grateful for?
Man, heart is I'm feeling good. I feel good because of
Okay,
the
James
event
Brown.
last night. Hmm?
I said, okay, James Brown. I feel good.
Man, I was playing that earlier today. You remember
Yeah,
that?
you right.
I feel good. I knew
Yeah.
that I would now. It's because Joe was playing it on his I guess it was something that came up on his Switch, a game he was playing. I was like, that's a good song. So I played it for them to hear. But yeah, my heart feeling good after the event last night. It was something that I needed. I didn't realize it. So it was good being around other people, connecting with other people, so on and so forth. Also, my mind, I feel like very supercharged. I'm gonna be here, with you in Miami for the next month with the kids. So my mind is like, okay, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta make sure to do this and that, and that is like, rah, 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 rah. I'm on a single father vibes for the month. So, body feeling good. I haven't done anything. I haven't worked out or anything. Still going to customary walks.
Yeah.
But we hitting the gym tomorrow, so I know the body gonna be feeling it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
doing we doing legs. I'm just letting you know that right now. We're doing legs.
I'm going to sleep early.
That testosterone gonna be firing, boy. When you do the
For
legs, the
sure.
testosterone be on high. Yeah.
Exactly.
But we're gonna do bands though. We're not gonna do the heavy stuff. We're gonna do bands, but you're gonna
That.
see. I brought my bands with me.
All right. So, yeah, definitely. I'm interested to see how this goes.
You're gonna feel like, oh, okay, but the next day you're gonna be like, oh shit.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's
I'm
different.
working.
It's very different from like the heavy lifting.
Hmm.
Very, very different. But yeah, man. Overall, my I'm grateful for clarity, man.
Hmm.
Shout out to our boy P, man. My guy, bro. We were talking. Always great conversations when we speak,
Yep.
and I was just expressing to him like I've lost a lot. I've lost a lot. I've been through a lot since pandemic, essentially,
Yep.
and my life is looking totally different than what it was before. And I made all these business moves, and things just went crashing hard. Man, it's like everything went up so fast. I was making all this money. I was making this move, and then as quickly as it went up, it's as quickly as it went down.
Yep.
Now I'm in the down part, picking up the pieces, but I truly don't regret anything I did because the clarity that I've gained is like, whoa. It's like I have a clear view of what direction I'm going in. I
Yeah.
feel like all the decisions that I made, I could just relate it to like being in the jungle and you have a machete
Mhm.
and it's just a bunch of debris, a bunch of trees, a bunch of vines, a bunch of weeds. It's just a bunch of stuff that you just cutting through, 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 and then eventually you see the clear path. But you have to, cutting through it's a lot. It takes a lot. So
No, I want to give you your flowers. I'm proud of you because something you said last night as well is you you transitioned from being a pessimistic person to understanding that all things, bad or good, work for my good. And because you have that mindset now, you could see the forest clearly now. You've been breaking through
Mhm.
those vines, those trees, those branches, and now you see the valley. And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even know all this
Yeah,
was even here.
yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
shout out to Lily for having a great event last night. Um,
Hmm.
really surprised. I had no
Yeah.
expectations, but she told us it was her first time. And I was like, oh, there's going to be some kinks, but it went way better than people I know that have been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, it was really, 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 really good.
It
The
was definitely
spirit, the spirit behind it, and
mm,
it was amazing. It was amazing, and it just you look at an event like that, and it's like I don't because I've done things like that before, and I don't think people really understand like how much, even if it's only 5 people coming. There's a lot that goes into those events. And she had vendors and all this stuff. She had food and, you know what I'm saying? She had videographers and she had people coming to perform. And it was like, whoa, like, dang, it was a good vibe.
It was a really good vibe. And you represented, you definitely dropped 45 on the boys. Double nickel. And, my gratitude, in my gratitude, it expresses how my body feels, expresses how my mind feels in my heart. And I want to read this passage that was sent to me some time ago, right? So it says, just 1 hour. That's all that changes when we switch to daylight saving time. Yet, that single hour shift can affect your sleep, mood, appetite, and energy for days or even weeks. Studies show heart attacks increase by 24% the day after we spring forward. Car accidents spike. Workplace injuries become more common, all from just a 60-minute adjustment. This reveals something profound about the human body. It deeply resists disruption to establish patterns, even when those disruptions are relatively small, expected, and ultimately beneficial. But if our bodies struggle this much with 1 hour time change that we intellectually understand and expect, how much more does your body resist changing emotional patterns you've held for decades? Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between helpful and harmful changes. It simply detects a difference, and if it feels unsafe, it responds with resistance. This explains why you may intellectually know you need to communicate differently, but find yourself falling into the same old arguments, or why you may understand attachment styles yet still get triggered by the predictable patterns of your current partner. Just like with daylight savings time, your conscious mind may be fully on board with the change, but your nervous system doesn't get the memo. This is also why willpower and intellectual understanding almost always fail to create lasting transformation. They don't address the biological reality of how change actually happens in your nervous system. Real transformation requires working with your nervous system, not against it. You can't just convince your nervous system to change. You have to speak it in a language it understands and provide it with new experiences of safety to counter old patterns of threat. It's better to think of it as a gradual recalibration rather than overnight change. Be Yang.
First of all, you said it was a quote. That was a chapter. That's number 1. But anyway, I'll let you go. I'm gonna let you say why you chose that.
This stuck out to me. It was sent to me some months ago by someone. They saw the quote. I think either they saw the quote or I saw it on Instagram. I don't know. I can't really tell you where I got it from. And when I read it, it was so simple. They sent it to me because I was talking about head knowledge and heart knowledge and how our bodies are used to toxic patterns and how hard it is, even though we know we need to change, how hard it is for our body to follow what our mind is doing. So when I read this and it talked about, and it's funny because as we're going through the real effects of daylight savings, right? Because of summertime and, we have longer days. It's like, even though we're ready for the change, our body still gets tired. We still have so many different things are happening. And sometimes we don't realize, it's like as if we get tired of the healing process, not realizing that it is a process, right? We want that change immediately, but even the smallest things take time to change. So I felt like the season of life you're in, the season of life anybody is in, because everybody's going through something, this would resonate with them.
For sure. What you just said in terms of like us sometimes not recognizing that it's a journey. I was literally just listening to Austin Rivers podcast. For those who don't know Austin Rivers, he's a former NBA player.
Doc Rivers.
Yeah, and he was interviewing Damian Lillard. That was his first episode. But this episode happened a year ago. something that Dame and him were talking about was how when they lost last playoffs, not this year, but the year before, and the reporter asked Giannis if this year was a failure, and Giannis was like, "Yo, this is not a failure." You know what I'm saying? Like, so they talked about that, and Dame was like, "Yeah, I agree with Giannis because I'm a journeyman. I have a journeyman's mindset, so I'm not just looking at this moment and saying, oh, it's a failure. Like, yo, look at the whole. Like, we were number 2 in the East up until literally the last game of the season." Like, it's all about the journey. You can't just be focusing on, the end result. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because it's really the end result. And I was like, this is why he's successful. This is why he's got. And I don't even want to say successful because a lot of times the way we interpret what success is, to me, I don't think it's healthy. A success for him. It's like, this is why he's living the life that he wants to live because he has the journeyman's mindset. And I feel like over like for me, honestly, like the last 2 years for real, year and a half, I could see myself developing the journeyman's mindset instead of being like, oh, here, I got to make this much money by this amount of time. You know me in time. I'm like, oh, this and that. I got to hit this goal at this specific time. And I feel like when you have the journeyman's mindset, you're kinder to yourself. You exercise more self-compassion, and you understand that there's more nuance in life than what you think and what you understand, and you just go with the flow.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna piggyback off of that because it has a lot to do with our main topic. But I love the fact that you brought up Damian Lillard in the NBA because fuck the Knicks.
Fuck Knicks! Fuck Knicks! Fuck the Knicks! Yeah.
How would Shannon do it? Bo Knicks, Little Dicks, Two Bigs, Indiana and 6.
Patience.
There you go. Yeah. Shout out to all
man. I'm so
fans
thankful.
out there.
That's my giant gratitude. The Knicks lost.
The Knicks, thank God. Because if they made it to the finals, they would have acted like they won the finals. They could have got swept in the finals.
Bro, they were already acting like they won the finals when they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. So what are you saying? They were having trades, bro.
They would have called it a dynasty.
They would have called it, yeah, you're right, kid. You're right. No, you're right. No, for real. They would have called it a dynasty.
This is crazy, but I already know your prediction. It's probably my prediction too. I do feel like OKC is gonna win in 6 games.
I feel like they'd be winning in 5.
They might win in 5, but things happen. The NBA got to make a little bit of money, so referee's gonna give you at least 1 game, and then you're gonna get 1 game off home court. Man. Yeah, then they're gonna get the next game off home court.
I think the Pacers' greatest weapon, and I know the average NBA fan or basketball fan is not thinking about it, their greatest weapon doesn't even play. It's Rick Carlisle.
No.
He's their greatest. To me, he's the X factor. He can get them to 7 games with his coaching.
100%.
Yeah.
And he's underrated as a coach.
Heavily. Extremely. His name is never in talks of one of the best coaches in the league. Never in the talks. Yeah.
He held down Dallas for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. He got a lot of experience, he got a lot of experience when he was with the Pacers, when he was with Detroit. He got a lot of experience. So Dallas. So yeah. So let's see what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? There's no big names. These are up and coming, budding stars. SGA just won MVP.
Yep.
We'll see what it looks like. I just hope I hope it's entertaining. I need them to like hate each other, like have some beef, like something gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like make it exciting.
SGA is a humble person. I mean, that's what he shows off.
He's a laid back dude.
He's a laid back dude, but Halliburton, he's a dude. He's a pest. Because I saw a video today where he throughout the whole year, even last year, he was mocking everyone's 3-point celebration.
Yeah, he was doing it to Brunson.
Exactly. So exactly. Yeah. So he's the type of person, and I think that gives him his competitive edge.
Yeah.
So he's a person, if there's no beef, he's going to find some beef.
He's gonna find a way. Yeah.
So he's good for TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one thing that I appreciated about last night's event too was the musical performance. And I think we all know how much music helps our healing, but it was really from the poet to the R&B artist. He had his chant and reply to you performing, dropping the bar. It was really good. So with that being said, what M&Ms you got for us today?
Man, I don't know, kid. I've been in my R&B bag a little bit.
Let's go.
Man, I was listening to this the other day. I don't know how I came across it, but it's Alicia Keys, "If I Ain't Got You." And those lyrics is like, some people live for the fortune. Some people live just for the fame. People live for the power. Yeah.
Went to church.
Some people live just to play the game.
Keys come in.
Hand me the world on a silver platter, and what good would it be? So, there was no one to share with, no one who truly cares for me. So, just the all you want to do. Some people want
No,
to.
it's okay.
Yeah, for the sake of time. But no, when I hear those words, I'm like, yo, this is true to life. And then, the part I skipped over, I just went over to the second pre-chorus. But
Yeah.
some people think that the physical things defines what's within. And I've been there before, but that life's a bore, so full of the superficial. Like, I think in this life for a lot of us, we think that attaining is like the apex. We think that attaining and conquering and having, and we think all those things are the things that are going to make us feel fulfilled within ourselves. And I feel like we said this the last episode. I don't know. You were talking about, was it about Will Smith in that interview that he had? And he's like, he reached the pinnacle of, external success, where
It's like 125 or 126.
Yeah, like he could like go anywhere he want at any given time. He can have anything he want. He can have any woman he want. He can do whatever. But he said when he got there, it's like he was still empty.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, like, and to me, it's like that's the biggest deception. And I don't know. I feel like it's not until you actually go on that journey and that chase and you get there, that's when you realize that, oh, like I still feel empty inside. I still feel insecure. I still feel inadequate. I still feel lonely. I don't feel fulfilled. And that's when you really start to get into the journey of your life. Because the journey of life, it has all to do with within yourself. The journey is all within.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose this, because the words are the message is just so powerful, man.
It is very powerful. I've been single for the last 3-4 years, and I dated here and there, and it's very. What's that again?
I said, damn, I didn't know it was
I
that
know,
long.
right? Yeah, it's been that long. I know it's been that long, and I'm fortunate that I'm single in this season of my life versus when I was younger, because now I can have a different conversation with the women that I talk to. I can look for internal signals that align with me and my core values. Where if I was young, I would have just been chasing all the soup to ass.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I know how difficult, like there's a certain level of pain when she sings that part, when you read it, because you realize how much you've been chasing this so-called perfect dream, and trying to make it reality, and
Yeah.
realize that it's fool's gold,
Shit
right?
crazy. Yeah.
And let's go ahead and go into our main topic, because I want to make sure that we don't give too much. I don't want to hold back any longer,
Got
right?
you. Mm-hmm.
So, self-paid, self-made, an American trauma response. What were you thinking when you came up with that title?
Essentially, what we're talking about right now is we are born into the American society, especially for us as men. You know, we're talking to men here because, you know, this is what
Mm-hmm.
the podcast tailored towards men.
Yep.
And we're born into a society where we are immediately taught that, hey, this is how you're supposed to be as a man. These are the things that you're supposed to do. This
Mm-hmm.
is how you're going to gain respect. This is how you're going to be validated. This is how you're going to be able to live a life that is worth being uplifted, and that deals with pounding the pavement, being the leader of the pack, making the most money,
Yep.
calling big shots, making the big shots, and just being at the forefront of what we call success, which American success is having the money,
Mm-hmm.
or let's say having the best woman. Yeah, and I'm not even talking about like personality wise. I'm talking about aesthetically.
Yes.
That is broad, or having the big business, and that's what we see success.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of that plays into the trauma that we've experienced as young boys. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it, a lot of us, you hear those stories, right? Who was one person? Michael B. Jordan. Remember that when that young lady interviewed him, and that was a young lady from his high school days or middle
Mm-hmm.
school days, I don't remember. And he was like, he put her out there. He was like, "Oh yeah, the corny kid, right?" Like, because apparently they used to joke on him and rank on him. And she was like,
Right.
"I never called you corny, this and that and that." And you can see
Mm-hmm.
that, yo, like, he's like, yeah, I got y'all. Like, y'all were trying me and look at me now,
Right.
right? So we use those sorts of moments. We use those experiences where we're bullied, where we're teased, or when your parent doesn't see a lot in you and they're verbally and emotionally abusive. We use those things to help us catapult. And it's not even us using them. I really want to say American society, capitalism, individualism, patriarchy uses that pain and that trauma to make us feel like we're something.
Yeah. And then when we look internally, there's nothing there. Our soul is empty. And it's
Mhm.
very interesting because we've all been there and we've all witnessed. You could tell when there's a guy who's leading with his accomplishments. You could
Mm,
tell when there's a guy that, like, he has that deep chip on his shoulder.
yeah,
He feels like he has to prove something.
man, I was there, bro. That was my whole life, kid. Like it's crazy, right? Because when I look at my upbringing,
Mhm.
you know, father abandoned my mother in a coal basement in Chicago, Illinois. Mother left me in the hands of my grandparents. Um, Mother was supposed to go to school, but then she ended up having like five other kids with four different other men.
Mhm.
Grandfather passed away of sickle cell anemia when I was 5. Grandmother left to raise me just by herself with my uncle and my aunt who are both autistic. And we didn't have, no, let me say we, because my grandmother is definitely a part of that. We didn't
Mhm.
have protection, bro.
Mhm.
We didn't have the family safety and security. People would just come in and just take advantage of my grandmother, take money from her all the time, all these different things.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, we didn't have safety and security. So we're in a neighborhood. Oh, I'm the rotten apple. I'm the bad kid. We at church. oh, don't hang around Jonathan. He's this and that and that. I'm at school. I'm always the one that's getting in trouble. Yo, that thing made me so angry, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Those years made me so angry, and I remember me saying it. Oh, I'm gonna show them. I
Mm-hmm.
remember me saying that internally. I'm gonna show them. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get a wife. I'm gonna have
Mm-hmm.
kids. I'm gonna finish school. I'm gonna make all this money, and then they're gonna see. They're gonna see. And I did all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And every step of the way, those same people that would try me in the neighborhood, those same people that would try me in the church, right? Even I ran into one of my old teachers who was a prominent reason why I dropped out of high school. I remember I ran into him one time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all of them saying at the same time, like, wow, man, I'm proud of you. You really made something of yourself. You this and that and that. Wow, like, oh man, you did it with no parents. Man, this and that and that. And it used to make me feel good. But over time, I didn't really care. Like over time, it was a different type of anger I was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, yo, I had to do all of this to prove to you guys that I'm not what you think I am. I had to do all of this. I had to perform this way. This is what I had to do. And I'm like, yo, that's not fair. Right? So I'm thinking about my situation, but how many other men out there had to prove I'm this? I'm not what you're saying, I'm this, and I'm going to show you. Because at the end of the day, we all want that validation. We all want to be loved. We all want to be accepted for who we are truly. We all want to be approved of.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, we it's like we make a unwritten agreement, a silent agreement with society, with culture. And we say, okay, I'm going to chase success. I'm going to chase fame. I'm going to chase fortune. I'm going to chase power.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I'm going to be able to feel better about myself. Because when I do those things, this is when you guys will see. But then
Yeah.
again, like Will said, you get there and you're like, wait a minute, this is it? And I feel like a lot of men a lot of us are struggling with that.
Yeah, we definitely are. And it's funny how we could both end up in the same with the same chip, but
Hmm.
my journey was different, right? I had my parents, I had siblings, I had that family structure, that quote unquote safety that you didn't have. But like the young lady said at the event, when I got a job, when I did good in school or at church, that was you're not doing nothing special.
Mm,
That is the baseline for you.
yeah, it's expected. Like that's
It's
nothing.
expected.
You're not
That's
getting.
nothing.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, all right, well, it aided me because there's nuance to it, but it aided me to have that savior complex because now if I make it big, I have all the money to save everyone and I'm the man. Now I'm gonna get that validation you talk about.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, even though I had a different family childhood experience than you, I still had that same drive and that energy with that chip on my shoulder to prove to the world
Hmm.
that I am somebody.
No, that's good because what you're saying right now, it reminds me of the client that I'm working with. White man, our age, like 38, 39.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me how sometimes he feels uncomfortable because people that are not like him think that he has everything together. They're like, oh, he's white, he has a family, 2-car garage, he has, his kids, his wife, whatever, right? He's working in tech and he's making all this money. He's like, bro, I'm not even making enough money like people think I am. Like people think whatever. I said, you know what? And I see what he was getting to. It's pretty much like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
black and white. Like, I just laid it out on the table. I said, yeah, I said, you're a white man. I'm a black man. Like we have two different ways of growing up and just in society in general. The way you're going to be looked at is going to be different from how I'm looked at. But how I see it is we have more similar than we have differences. Like you're a man, I'm a man. You have a family, I have a family. You work, I work. This and that. And then he was like, dang, he was like, wow, I never really saw it that way. I said, yeah, this is why we need to have conversations. We just automatically assume we're different because, bro, this is what you're saying. This is like what I thought too. I was like, yo, you know, Jerry grew up in a great family.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at myself, I'm like, dang, even the other boys at Mark Joy, I'm like, dang, you guys, they have their parents. I don't have my parents.
Hmm.
You guys are much better off than I am. But as we've gotten older and we've had more conversations and we've gotten more transparent, more vulnerable of what we've experienced as kids and how it has made us feel and how it has impacted our inner world, it's like, just like you said, we both had chips on our shoulder. It just came differently.
Yep. So how do you help navigate those men who, how could I explain this? Because we, as men, we never feel like we could be loved outside of what we provide or what we do. I'm just being real. Like,
Yeah.
like it's very hard for me to say, like, the world, my boss, even some of my closest friends, loved ones, romantic relationships. I've never really had anybody express to me, like, I just love you because you're Jerry.
Hmm.
Right? And essentially, as we get older, as you see, as we get into those midlife points of our lives,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to perform no more, bro. Like
No, it's just tiring. I'm done. I'm
we've been,
finished.
me personally, I've
It's
been on
finished.
tour. Yeah, finished. I've been on tour for the last 20 years, kid. 25 at least. That
Oh,
boy
so you're
tired,
right.
kid.
You're
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's perspective. It's true. It is. You are performing. It's a tour. You're right. You're right.
On tour. I sold
Um,
out shows. You know what I mean? I hit some groupies. You know what I mean? I wanna relax. I don't want someone to always want me around just to put on a concert for them.
mhm,
I want someone to be like, nah, I just want you here.
mhm.
So how do you help a man rework that mindset, his mind frame, because there's so much at play. It's hard to turn those performances off, especially when you've gotten so much praise because of it.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's very possible. And like we talk about, it's a journey. It's not something that it's gonna just happen in a snap of a finger. But you have to start separating your identity and worth from what you do. And
Mm,
the way that you can do that is by understanding your qualities as an individual. Like, what are your intangibles as a person? Like, I was having a session with a client.
mm,
We were going through that, and I was telling the client, I was like, you know what? You perform so well at work, but in your day to day life, it's not the same. Like in your personal relationships, in your relationship with your partner and family members. I said, why aren't those same intangibles at work showing up in your relationships? I was like, I don't know. I was like, well, it's because you're using those intangibles to perform, but you don't recognize that those same intangibles that you're using to perform, you can use them in your everyday life. So let's look at you at work. This client of mine is like a swim instructor. They not just swim instructor, but they train dolphins and whales and stuff like that. And they're like
mm.
at that company for like 15 years, and they're in high leadership. And they're just telling me like, we're going through intangibles, and I'm like, you see these intangibles that you're talking about? You can use those same intangibles in your personal life. But we want to take those and use them in your personal life because that is a part of your identity. However, you've allowed performance to hijack those qualities, those intangibles, and you're not recognizing you can use them in your everyday life. So I feel like that's one of the first things that you need to be able to do. What are your intangibles? Bro, most people don't know their intangibles. I do this with clients all the time where we can sit a whole hour and it's like pulling teeth for them to figure out what their intangibles are.
So, for example, I'm in sales. I'm great at cultivating a safe place to
Yeah,
my performance, that sale. I make you feel comfortable buying with me.
right. Exactly. That's an intangible. And this is what I express to the client as well. Is like you can have five other different people that do the same thing that you do. They can't do it the same way that you do it.
Mm.
And I gave that client the example of last night when we were at the event, and I was on a panel with three other therapists, and I said, and then another therapist, he was a black male therapist, and he was also a licensed marriage and family therapist, just like me.
Right.
So you can already start to feel within yourself it's a competition.
Yeah, I saw it.
You could already start to feel. You peeped that too, though, right?
Yeah.
Peeped that, right? Yeah, I peeped it too, but I kept it low key. You can feel like, okay, there's a competition. Like, I have to show, like, you know what I'm saying. But for me, I know what my intangibles are. I know what my gifts are. So because I know my intangibles and my gifts, I know I'm confident, I'm sure of myself. I know, bro, there is no I have yet to meet a man who's 6'8", 300 plus pound, who is as authentic and as vulnerable as I am. That's what I lead with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not hiding behind my profession. I'm not acting like, oh, I know everything. No. Yeah, this is what I do as a therapist. That's what I do. But who I am, I'm authentic. I'm vulnerable. I'm transparent. So this is
Mhm.
why busting out the gates, I dropped 10 points. I dropped 10 points in 2 minutes. I just dropped 10 points. You got to call timeout now. Oh, shoot. He
Yeah.
on it. Got to call timeout. Right?
Yes.
Because I'm starting off the event by showing, like, hey, this is who I am. And this is the energy that I want the entire room to feel. As the expert, I want you to see that, yo, we're on the same level here. And I'm going to show you this by saying, hey, this is what I've been through. This is how I feel. This is what I'm experiencing. This is what I've experienced. This is how I've overcome it. I'm not leading with the profession because that's just what I do. It's not who I am. It's what I do. And a lot of us we can't make that differentiation because we're so caught up in what we do.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I already know. I said, yo, I'm a vulnerable guy. I'm always going to lead with that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that you can be confident in your space when you know your intangibles, when you know your gifts.
And I love that you said confident because for men, I want them to understand that once you learn your intangibles and you lean into your vulnerability, especially in your romantic relationships and your family dynamic, your friend circle, there's a freeing spirit or a release of weight off your shoulders that you'll feel, and you'll start to be more confident and more authentic. More of your true self will show up, and you're not really worried about how anybody may feel or take your persona because you understand this is who I am. Take it or
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah. You know, a lot of us are so caught up in trying to perform and to make ourselves look like something that we're not,
it.
that we end up living lives that essentially we're just not happy with. But you see, it takes that work. You know, you got to be able to do that inner work because what happens is, again, society, you know, takes the pain, it weaponizes it, and then we try to build this big thing and do all these big things and be this big shot. But it's like, no, what if that was never meant for you? Have you ever thought of that?
Right.
A lot of us are chasing things, and listen, I'm at the forefront of the line. I'm chasing things that were never for me. They were never for me. Or let me say this instead. I'm chasing things or I'm going after things that, yeah, they're probably for me, but the way I'm doing it is not the way I'm supposed to do it. I'm not operating in my armor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not operating within myself. It's like what, David, when he went to go fight Goliath, and
Yeah.
then the king gave him all this armor. He was like, nah, I can't fight in this armor. Like, nah, this ain't working for me. Yo, give me my slingshot. Let me go get some stones from the river over there. Everybody like, what the hell? Yo.
Mm-hmm.
But he won because he's fighting in his armor. A lot of us are not fighting in our armor. We're looking at Grant Cardone. We're looking at Tony Robbins. We're looking at LeBron. We're looking at Jay-Z. We're looking at these guys. And it's like we're trying to mimic them because, oh, we want that success. Oh, they successful. That's what I want. Okay, I need to be like them. I need to do how they did it. It's like, no, no. Like, that's not you.
Right.
Guess what? Not only that that's not you, guess what? They are not you. We never think about that. But it's because we're so caught up on this American success, you don't recognize that, yo, if you take away all the money, the fame, the notoriety, the access, that person is not you. You have things that they don't have. But we're only just thinking about, oh, I want what they have. Do you really want what they have? Do you really want what they have? Do you really want to go the route that they took to get what they have? Because it may not be according to who you are as a man. But the problem is, we think those dudes are the apex of being a man, and they're not. They're
Yeah.
not. They just have stuff and things, and we don't know. We don't know jack squat what really goes on in their lives. At the end
Well,
of the day, we want
Diddy
that.
is definitely showing us. You know what I mean? Did he do
Yeah.
it or did he not? But
Hmm.
it's that praise. It's that
Yeah.
praise of men. It's that external validation. And you sent me a video about this young kid who went to barber school.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That was, yeah.
right, and he went to barber school. His parents didn't really like him going to barber school, but he made it big in a short period of time as a barber. Got famous, and
Hmm.
then he lost it all.
He lost it. Oh, that was
But
crazy. That stuff was crazy. I'm like, whoa.
crazy. And then in him losing it all, he found himself. He learned how to be authentically himself. And he started to gain back that success just differently. And
Yeah.
he only wishes that he could have Barack Obama and give him a nice fade in his chair.
Hmm.
And he
Hmm.
later got that success. So it just
Yeah.
shows you how everyone's journey is different. It ebbs and flows. And
Yeah.
it shows you how when he got to his apex, it really didn't mean nothing. What he
Hmm.
realized it meant more was how he lived in his purpose and the people that he had around his support system. He got back his
Yeah.
wife after he lost her, all these
Yeah.
different things, and how he wanted to be valuable to the world.
Hmm. Yeah, it was a beautiful story for sure. Yeah. Yep.
Any
Yep.
closing remarks for us, bro?
Man, I would just say this to all my men out there, stop chasing. You have everything you need already. You just haven't done the work deep enough to really understand that. And you sitting there chasing, you don't understand. When you chasing, you don't love yourself. You chasing, you're losing yourself. You don't even recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us don't recognize that in order to truly be fulfilled, we have to be not just connected to ourselves, but also we have to love and appreciate ourselves.
Yeah,
It's
man.
one thing to know yourself, but it's a whole other thing to actually love, appreciate, cherish yourself, adore yourself.
Yeah, man. Stop chasing that dough. Stop chasing them hoes, and love yourself more. With that being said, I love you, bro.
I love you too, man. Until we pod again. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, the man that says he can and the man that says he can't are both right. Which one are you?
Street cred was a major priority, and no respect for any authority. If you love school, you were in the minority. Can't be yourself, only way was conformity. In the dark I pray.